What's going on, guys? So while I'm live streaming on twitch.tv, you guys are asking, hey man, like, can you make a how to kill Echo of Lilith video, or like explain the timings on like flame shield, stuff like that, so that I can get through the fight easier? Not a problem. That's what this video is, but not just flame shield timing for the fight. I'm going to break down what I'm doing as I get into the fight for you, so maybe you can replicate that and have a good time killing Echo of Lilith. I'm dropping her pretty much every single time I fight her. I'm carrying people with this build now. It's more than strong enough. And in this video, you're going to learn some techniques that help you cross that finish line when you're fighting this flying demon from hell. So let's get into it. So starting off with the gear, we're going to kind of go through this. The amulet. I'm using a chain amulet of control, so this amulet gives me the control legendary aspect, which deals 53% increased multiplicative damage to things that are immobilized, stunned, or frozen. So that's actually great for Lilith, because whenever she's staggered, we're pumping huge damage into her. But let's look at the stats on this, the affixes, right? We've got cooldown reduction, which is like mandatory for any necklace. We've got movement speed, all conjuration skills, +3 to all ranks, right? And conjuration mastery. It's hard to find this amulet. It's very tricky to do. So let's say I had to choose 3, because you can find maybe something close. Get cooldown reduction, make sure you've got movement speed, and all ranks to conjuration skills are the 3 most important things. If you happen to get conjuration mastery passive, that's great too. What that's going to do is, I'll break open the skill tree here for you, right? This is conjuration mastery. You get increased multiplicative damage for every single conjuration you've got spawned, right? And we're kind of doubling up on that benefit. Conjurations are things like what the whole build's for, right? Lightning Spear, Ice Blades, and Hydra. If you can't get Conjuration Mastery, that's okay. This is like a utilitarian choice. It's good no matter where you're using it, which is why we like it a lot. Other options for Echo of Lilith specifically could be things like Endless Pyre, plus ranks to that because it gives you increased multiplicative damage, right? While something's been burning for 5 seconds or more. Lilith's probably one of the only targets in the game that's going to survive for 5 seconds with this build, with its current implementation, so that's okay. Something else you could go for is maybe Devouring Blaze. You deal increased damage, right? Burn damage. You deal increased critical strike damage against burning enemies, which is okay for a Hydra. They're sending in bolts. And again, that bonus is increased if they're mobilized. Okay, cool. Another thing could be Hoarfrost, right? You deal increased multiplicative damage to chilled enemies and deal even furthermore multiplied damage if they're frozen. Again, that stagger window, right? So just options if you can't get Conjuration Mastery. As for the Barber, I'm going for a 2-second Barber. Unfortunately for us, Lilith is one of the only demons in the game where she has an immunity window. So if I have a big 4-second Barber with 15% increased multiplicative damage, she might oftentimes be immune to that hit because it's just taking too long to actually build that suppressed damage and explode. I like 2 seconds. Now 3 might be absolutely appropriate, but 2 seconds for me works for Lilith, and it also works in tandem in Nightmare Dungeons, which I commonly carry folks with on Twitch, which is fine. I love doing it. So this is the build for me. That's the amulet that I think you should go for. 2 seconds allows you to blow up blisters quicker. You're getting those damage windows in, big pockets of damage rather rapidly. It's not an additional 15% multi for the 3-second, but at 2.2, it does the job just fine. That amulet will make the big difference for you. The more movement speed you got, the better you're going to be in phase 2, facing down those fireballs that are chasing you. In phase 1, having the movement speed's very good when you're trying to dodge those waves, those spikes, right? And as you get more comfortable, you may even not have to even move around so much because you have some really awesome tools at your disposal like Teleport and Flame Shield, which we're going to speak on later. Another big piece of gear that's important for the build is these boots. So I've got the Ghost Walker legendary aspect on these runic cleats. So what makes the boots so critical is the max evade charges. You got to have these. You're going to find it with 2. Find boots that have 2 max evade charges, and then up it at the blacksmith to go to 3 charges. You're going to rely on this when you're kind of dodging and moving through phase 2, trying to stay ahead of these fireballs based on your movement speed. The higher your movement speed, the less you have to rely on those evade charges, okay? But I've got, as you can see here, 20.3 out of 26%. And on my amulet, I've got 20.3 out of 26%. So I've got a bunch of room to grow there on movement speed, which would make it much easier to do. Furthermore, make sure you got movement speed on your boots, make sure you've got all stats for the Paragon board, and make sure you've got Frost Nova and Teleport ranks. The reason you want Frost Nova and Teleport, specifically for Lilith, is the following, right? What do? The more ranks in Frost Nova and the more ranks in Teleport that you have, the lower the cooldown is on these skills, so they're up more. Teleport being up more helps you if you're using Raiment of the Infinite, and I'll speak on that in a minute. And Frost Nova helps you try to stagger the boss quicker, and also freeze things like violent blood blisters before they explode, or freeze monsters so they don't hit you as hard. Remember, if you're using Raiment, which we're about to speak to, it's going to give you +1 rank to Glass Cannon, which gives you more multiplicative damage, but you take more damage. Kiss Curse, right? So that's why those boots are very important. So what you're going to look for before you rank these up is 2 max evade charges, 3 ranks of Frost Nova, 3 ranks of teleport, some movement speed. If you don't have all stats, that's fine. You can have something else. I just think it's ideal. And it'll help you in the fight. So let's talk about Raiment for a second. While you don't need this chest, and I'll show you at the very end of the video, you don't need this, it's awesome. It brings a lot of the monsters into close proximity. It kind of vacuum sucks them in, and then you can cast a Frost Nova to freeze, and you just drop these guys because they're stunned. It's awesome. It also gives you the Glass Cannon passive, and it keeps them CC'd for 2.7 up to 3 seconds. But what it also does is it gives you increased stagger bar for Lilith. So every time you teleport on top of her, you'll push her stagger bar even more so she drops. And the reason staggering Lilith is important in this experience is every time you stagger her, one of those giant blood blisters will be absorbed. It'll be gone. It'll be eliminated from the fight. So you want to stagger her as much as you can so that you don't have to deal with the fireball mechanic flowing up your alleyway, right? Hitting you in the blue knot as often as it is. And it will just make it so much simpler. Now, if you don't have Raiment of the Infinite, I got a note here. It says, if you don't have Raiment of the Infinite, I use Ever Living. And I got a chest here. I'll show it to you. This is something I found just before I started recording the video. I was using specific things that I was looking for: conjuration, skill damage, pyromancy damage. Those things are going to help here. If you look at Hydra, it's your #1 damaging skill, right? It's conjuration, it's pyromancy. So I got a chest that had that so that I could do more of that damage. I don't have the utility that Raiment gave me, so I had to go for damage and survivability. Ever Living was that thing, and those 2 affixes on the chest I happened to find, super lucky, and I put that on and did the kill. And again, that kill comes at the very end. For those of you guys and gals out there that don't have Raiment, you can still do the fight, and I'll show you how that goes. But Raiment's so nice, bringing everything together, letting that barber effect explode AoE damage on everything. There's a lot of little nuance going on there. It's subtle, but my God, does it help a lot, okay? So Raiment, if you can get it, obviously it's great. Make sure you've got Ghost Walker. The more increased speed you get after you fly around Flame Shield, the better. And that amulet is pretty choice. Now, those are the main things. And for killing Lilith, this one's out here. It's out there, but you'll do more damage. If you have Splintering Energy, right, try to get a 50%. Every time you cast Lightning Spear, it'll help you with your Conjuration Mastery. I'll bring that up one more time. It just gives you more multiplicative damage, right? So try to get more conjurations out as rapidly as you can. And you'll see that little node just above your bar as you're doing the fight. The higher that number, the more multiplicative damage you're doing. So let's go ahead and talk about skills for a second and how you want to utilize that when doing the fight. This is unreal. So engulf yourself in flames for 2 seconds, right? Burning enemies around you, which is pretty cool. And then while Flame Shield's active, you are immune, period. Nothing kills you. You could walk out of the ring when you're fighting her. You could take a dive bomb, no damage, and we do that. You could go ahead and walk through whatever. If she throws up that wall of spikes, walk right up to her, smack her in the face, right? If she's doing some crazy pattern you haven't memorized yet, that's fine. Flame Shield's your friend in this regard. It makes you immune. But then it gives you 25% increased movement speed while it's active, and it heals you for missing life. All of that is perfect for this fight. If you're out of potions because you're just chugging them back because you're getting slapped around, right? Flame Shield's got you. So you've got, basically, here's how this is important. You've got 2 seconds when you press this to make sure that you don't take lethal damage, okay? And you could use the enchantment. I do not. My enchantments are Frozen Orb, and my enchantments are Ice Blades. But if you enchanted Flame Shield, right, automatically activates when you take fatal damage, and it only happens once every 2 minutes. So if you're just learning the fight, you can get rid of Frozen Orb just to stay alive longer, to see more of the encounter. Now, as you get more comfortable, these are the enchantments I'd recommend that you use. But just getting into it, you could try Flame Shield. That's right. It has a cheat death from World of Warcraft, right? As a rogue, it's got a cheat death mechanic built into it, so you can explore and enjoy more of the fight as you're learning it. But Flame Shield is your chef's kiss. It is the unbelievable skill. So when do you use this? You've got 2 seconds. So as you're doing the fight, you can see the wave pattern coming in. Count in your head. Say it out loud if you want to, right? 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, gone. But you know, here it comes. Press Flame Shield, right? And so we're going to go ahead and review some footage here, and I'll show you when I decide to use it and why. Okay, so here we are in phase 1. She's about to cast this wall of spikes, right? And you know which direction it's going to go because you've got these lines that are kind of flying towards one direction, and it's very subtle, but you got to do this fight to pick up on these little subtleties, right? And the nuance. There's no lines behind her, just the light source hitting the model and then the shadow on the ground. So these light tracks, or these shadow tracks, show you where it's going to go. So it's coming at us, okay? So right now I see her prepping it. I'll go back just a couple seconds. You know she's about to cast it, right? So right now I'm going to cast Flame Shield. There it is. Now it's on. No matter what she does, and for 2 seconds after, I've got total immunity, right? Boom, it goes through, and I don't even care. Walk towards her. So just as the cast is coming out, we're going to cast Flame Shield then. You've got 2 seconds, but you got to be able to spot when she's going to do those things. So now I got Bebop and Rocksteady here, okay? These guys have just been hit with Raiment. I'm about to freeze them up, right? Boom, there's Frost Nova. And I'm watching the ground to see where is the tracks coming in, where I call it the spikes. Where are they coming in? And I'm looking for little marks on the floor, right? Boom, there it is. So just to the left of these targets, sitting right here, you can see, right? It's coming in. So watch Flame Shield, right? Boom, just as she lands, Flame Shield goes off. I've just cast it. I know she's coming in. I got 2 seconds. 1,000, 2, 1,000, right? And if you time it right, you don't got to move at all. But oftentimes, you're going to want to navigate around the fight. So like, take the first spike and follow the track on the other side. With this phase 1 spike pattern, it's one, you'll see, I'll just say it. One comes down, then one's going to follow it in the middle. 1, 2. You see? 1, 2. And there's 2 on the outside. So 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, but 2 track through the middle. So Flame Shield is so awesome because you just get to walk through it. But let's go ahead and see what happens here, right? What I think I should have done, the ideal gameplay would be like absorb the first one and then go stand up here, right? I'd have plenty of time. Instead, I risk it for the biscuit. And that's kind of dash through. When do you want to do it? Just before it hits your character because you have 2 seconds to get the hell out of the way. That's how you use Flame Shield in phase 1, okay? Now in phase 2, how to use Flame Shield. So there's some nuance going on here too. I'm pushing her with Frost Nova. I'm pushing her with Teleport using Raiment. I'm using Lightning Spear to try and get the stun in there. And I'm pushing that stagger bar. But what's going to happen is she's going to go to the top and you're going to have at least one of these blisters that's firing off these fireballs. The most appropriate use that I've been using is this, right? You teleport in if you get comfortable with it. Watch that fireball. It's sitting right here, okay? It's about to hit us. And we start moving. And this is where movement speed becomes absolutely critical. Now you're going to pop Flame Shield because you can walk on this black tar floor. It's no problem. When do you use it? Just before you would take that lethal damage because you're immune for 2 seconds, right? 1,000, 2, 1,000, boom, and it stops, okay? Boom, Flame Shield's over. But now we have Ghost Walker kicking in, so we're getting that increased movement speed for 4 seconds, right? So we dodge, we keep moving, right? Life is good. And now we teleport in again. We're teleporting on top of her because we get that stagger bar that pushes if we have Raiment Chest on, okay? So how to use Flame Shield there? Use it to walk across the black floor so that you don't take lethal damage by touching it. If you did not have Flame Shield on and you touch that floor, it's insta-kill. GG, see you at the lobby, kid, right? So let's start it off. Starting off the fight, you try to get your Conjuration Mastery as high as you can. And to do that, you'll notice I do pretty much the same thing every time. Ice Blades, double Hydra, right? Ice Blades, double Hydra, and run out 3 Conjuration Mastery. You can see at the bottom. And then here comes Lightning Spear, right? Lightning Spear is now out. And I don't know how many we got. We've got 6 Conjurations. Awesome. Ice Blades, Lightning Spear, Hydra, Hydra. And I guess Ice Blades is out twice, which is cool. Great, so I have 6. I'm getting 36% increased multi. I then pop Flame Shield, so when she pushes me back, I'm kind of like closer, so making use out of that territorial glyph that I'm using. So let's check that out, right? And now we're on top of the fight, and we're just sitting there. And we're smacking her around. And then whenever she throws her wings up, that's when you have this volatile blood that's going to show up. And that's what I want you to start saving Frost Nova for, because you can freeze it and do 18% increased multiplicative damage from Hoarfrost. So save that if you can. And as you get more comfortable, you don't need to do that, but it helps you a lot. Okay, it will help you a lot. Get used to doing that. So we're going to keep hitting her. You can absorb some of these hits. Remember, every time you cast a cooldown, you will get with protection from your skills. You're going to get 30% of your life as a barrier, which is good. So there's Volatile Blood. And that's just as we talked about, there's Flame Shield, right? Jokes. Just tap it. Slap it around, right? Jokes. Now here comes Bebop and Rocksteady. And again, I precast these Conjurations. Double Hydra again, Ice Blades, Lightning Spear. You can do all that right now. That's fine. I'm trying to make sure that I have at least 4 on my Conjuration Mastery with my amulet that gives me 24% increased multi for this window when she's doing nothing. I'm just pumping damage into her before the ads come down, okay? So here they come. Save teleport for this moment. Pull them in together, but give yourself a couple of seconds when these guys spawn. I'm going to pull it back just a minute. If you do it immediately, you won't grab them up. They actually take a minute to like spawn in with the ability for you to engage with them in a way that moves their position. That's why I'm not doing it right away. You kind of take a couple of hits, right? Pop a potion, then you pull them in. And let's see what happens, right? I'm casting, looks like I'm using Frost Nova. I freeze them in place. And I'm looking now for where that direction comes through that I have to pop my Flame Shield, right? You bring them together. You've got Flame Shield off cooldown at this moment, but you're now looking, okay? Now watch. There it is. Press Flame Shield, right? Boom. 1,000, 2, 1,000. And we focus on being near the bottom of the ring so we can see what the pattern is and where we need to go. If it's spawned right here, I know it's a straight shot. It'll spawn, let's see. Okay. If it spawns directionally up top, you can stand right here. I know this because I've done this. This is the way the mechanics work, right? If it would have spawned in this direction, I'd teleport right here. If it spawns here, I can go up here. And I'm going to move in behind it. Remember, this is the middle wave, right? The track is going this way being south, being down. It's not traveling upwards. If it was traveling upwards, I know the waves are coming in from the bottom to the top. So I would actually go stand probably over here and move in. Now let's follow along, right? Teleport where it's safe. Good. Now move into position just back here. Drop a couple hydras so that we're close, taking advantage of territorial, right? Throws up the wings. Frost Nova immediately. Shatters. Jokes. Now she's staggered because we were pushing stagger the whole time, which is why you want to be using your abilities to stagger frequently, okay? Try not to stand on the crisscross. You'll save yourself some potions, but as you can see, there's plenty. Flame Shield. Just ignore it, right? Frost Nova again. Hit the blisters. Okay. Now, quiz time, right? Where should you stand? Based on where it is, where should you go? You don't have Flame Shield up, so what are you going to do? Where do you go? Let's find out. Teleport just behind the first one, and then run with the flow. Run with the spikes, okay? You're behind them. You're behind them, you're good. Now, there's another set coming from behind, so you want to kind of run like a circle. If you just, I swear to God, once you go behind the first set of spikes, do a circle, you're all set. There's your circle pattern, you see? Just go in a circle and you got it. You've dodged the first one. All you have to do is not be standing there when the second one comes by. To get there, run a circle. That's it, okay? Start throwing up some more conjurations. Keep that conjuration mastery as high as you can. Let's continue. Now we're at 4, right? Lightning Spear goes out. We're at 5. Dash through the spikes. That's fine, right? She goes up in the air. Reposition your hydras for close territorial damage. Watch Ice Blades. It comes up. Lightning Spear comes up. Now the 3 amigos come in, okay? These guys are a little bit more generous. You can take this, pull them all together rapidly, then freeze them, okay? So that's what we're going to use with Raiment and the teleport right now. Here you go. Done. There's the freeze with Frost Nova. Excuse me. They all shattered because of the Barber. We still have Frost Nova up. And if that happens, I like to try and drop Frost Nova to freeze all the volatile blood if we can. But here comes, you can see the waves, right? This is the circle triangle. So pop your Flame Shield. Once you see it spawn, right? Almost right after, almost immediately. I'll show you that again. Here we go. Right? So you pull them in. There's your circle. 1. Pop. Right? There's the Frost Nova freezing all these volatile bloods. I get in the position where I can see what's going on in the ring, and we wait. Here you go. What's the pattern? Boom. So I know I'm going right here. 1, 2. When you're on the edge like this, you give yourself enough room to navigate away from the double directional spikes. Okay? So telly right through. You see? That's where it's going to be. And stand on the other side of that. I really want to show you guys this because you might die thinking you were safe and you're not. You can be right on the other side of this. Do you see how it kind of has like a little triangle? It's kind of like a mini. If you're standing just behind that, you're going to be okay. If I was right here, I'm dead. I'm not even kidding. It's that subtle. If I'm right there, I'm toast. So I'm good. See where the spikes drop? Fantastic. Let's continue. I can light her up. Toss the conjurations. Give her some of the frozen orb, right? Up in the air she goes. I'm on the edge. Triangle. Flame Shield, right? 1. Boom. Right? Stand where you are. Good. Got her. And you're going to phase 2. I'm going to stop pausing the video as much so we can just enjoy it. Freeze her up. Should have saved that for the volatile bloods, but we do enough damage. Not a big deal. We're hitting her. The Barber goes off and explodes AoE around, okay? Triangle Flame Shield, right? 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. Easy, right? Wait for that. Throws the wings. Boom. Volatile blood. Frozen. Done. Now you're in phase 2. So in phase 2, just like phase 1, I want you to have Conjuration Mastery as high as you can get it. And right down here, it's at 2. Double Hydra, 1, 2. Ice Blades is 3. And up to 5 with Lightning Spear if we can get it, okay? So watch. Once the wings start being formed, right? Hydra comes up. There you go. Ice Blades out, Lightning Spear, and we're casting all of our stuff to push that stagger bar on the boss, right? Now, you can stagger her here or not. It's up to you. The earlier you stagger her in phase 2, the worse it's going to be later. She gets harder to stagger as the fight goes on. So remember what I told you. I'm going to pause again. We staggered her, and we eliminated one of these blood blisters right off the floor. So now we have an easier way to go. There's 4 that spawn. She stabs the ground. She makes 4. I'm going to show you that. It's important that you know what's going on, right? So right here, she'll stab the floor with her tail. Boom. And she creates 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Know that. So here comes the fight. So we're doing our thing, right? Life is good. There's the stagger. It actually took 2 off. Left and top. Now it's gone. Now there's only 2 left. Two things shooting at you. Let's continue, okay? Pump damage into her. Stay close to her. Don't be shy. Stay close. Make territorial your friend. And the second that stagger ends, I want you to start doing this. The second that stagger ends, use whatever CC you have available, but don't use Flame Shield. Push that stagger, right? Use Teleport if you have Raiment on top. Push the stagger. Use Frost Nova if it's up. I hit her with, I believe that was Teleport. Let me just go back to verify. Right? Teleport on top. That's how I push that much stagger, and it goes a little bit better. Lightning Spear came out too. Now let's get in position. Frost Nova. Push that stagger. And if you get comfortable, teleport right now. You have time to teleport before this fireball hits you, okay? So I'm going to get even more stagger than you're getting because I know, and I'm pushing it. Watch. Teleport goes in, and we run Flame Shield, right? 1,000, 2, 1,000, dash forward. Hydra goes down because I'm comfortable, right? Hydra goes down again. Teleport on top. Push that stagger, right? Get the hell out of there. Done. Easy hits, right? Staggers her again. Eliminates the final blood blister off the floor. And now it's almost a GG. She's just toast. Because of her thresholds in her life, she now has to obey the rules of the fight and go to the top and blow away the floor, which means she doesn't have time to stab the ground and cause another volatile blood blister to spawn. And away we go. This is as in-depth as I can give it to you. Reposition your Hydras right. Frost Nova, push that stagger. And the reason we're pushing stagger all the time is it pays off in dividends down the road. When we're finally on the last platform here, you'll see I'm still pushing stagger, right? Still pushing stagger. Now she's gonna stagger when we land. Double Hydra, right? Ice Blades come up. Push it. Boom. She's staggered. She's dead. We basically have it. We're good to go. She might do a little bit of garbage to us. That's fine, right? Maybe we have to dodge one thing. This is that thing that we're going to dodge. Flame Shield goes up. Frost Nova killed the boys. And you got the kill. She has to obey the rules of the fight. She's going to give you a position here. Now, what's happening if you don't know? She's going to create a whole floor in black tar tendrils, right? Except for this very minor slice away. And you know that because of the direction she flew into. She went from top to, from left to right. So you know right is where you want to be. And then this will kind of clear out and she goes again. So watch for that. This one takes some practice, but you'll get it. And then she goes from right to left. So where are we supposed to stand? Left. Teleport over there and you're done. You got the kill. That's Echo of Lilith. I'll leave you guys with a couple more videos to watch. The first one will be in real time. The second one will be with no Raiment equipped. No Raiment of the Infinite. So you can see that it is possible. And I know this video is kind of going on a little bit longer than I wanted, but you know what? It's worth it if it helps you get the kill. With over 600 attempts on Barb to learn this fight and far less on this build on Sorceress, I hope this video helps you get the kill. And share in the comments below, guys. I really want you to succeed here. You're going to get this for the seasonal achievement, and the more comfortable you get, the easier it'll be for you to do, and ultimately, you can kill Lilith for other people too. Hope this video got you across the finish line. Much love, and take care. I'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.